I want to talk about something that keeps coming up in my comments. People telling me to just go up a dose or find a new doctor if mine won't increase it. Here's the thing, I really trust my doctor and I've trusted her for more than a decade. And this medication was primarily prescribed to me to treat my type 2 diabetes, with weight loss being a possible benefit, but not the primary goal. So, yes, weight loss is part of my journey, but my doctor is treating my type 2 diabetes first, not chasing fast weight loss results. So, if you've ever felt pressured to rush your dose because people online are losing weight a lot faster, then this update is for you. Welcome to Slow and Steady with Andy. I'm Andy, and this is my week 12 update on 7.5 milligram Mounjaro, and I'll be taking injection number 13. I like to start my weekly updates with a standard type of check in. So let's start out with the weigh in. I do weigh myself pretty much every morning, and today is injection day. My injection days are on Fridays, and I'm just going to pop up on the screen what the results were. So if you watched last week's update, my weigh-in was, I think, pretty much equal to what I weighed in last Friday. Not exactly what I want to see. Of course, I always want to see the numbers go down, but I do always feel a little bit of relief when the numbers aren't going up. So what can I say? I'm kind of at this stall phase. I've been through this many times since being on this journey. I'm going into my 8th month being on Mounjaro, and I'm going into my 13th week being on the 7.5 milligram. And let's go to the next big topic, and that is appetite suppression. So, appetite suppression has me going back and forth depending on what day of the week it is. Some days I am positive that the 7.5 is just fading out. And then there's other days where I am like, welcome back, no appetite. And that's usually after work every day and on the weekends. So it would really make sense that Monday through Friday, in that 8 hours where I am totally stationary for the most part, that is when I'm feeling those triggers of being hungry. When the weekend comes or after that work day, I'm, doing things. So my mind just doesn't have time to focus on being hungry. That really is a bit frustrating. This morning, I woke up super hungry, but I really think that's because yesterday I didn't meet my calorie goals. And I don't strictly calorie count. Like, I don't use an app to monitor every single thing I eat. I just will not do that. It is too much. I don't have time for that. And if I were to tell myself that I had to do that to be successful, I would just give up because it's just too much going on. But I do know what I typically eat every day. And at one point, I have figured out what the calorie count is, the protein, all that stuff. And so I have that in my head and I'm able to keep track that way. But yesterday, for whatever reason, I felt like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to log everything today. My thinking was maybe I just need to check in with myself and make sure that I haven't went off track and I'm like not realizing I went off track. So I try to stay at 16 to 1800 calories a day. That is what my medical team has worked out for me. But I was just concerned that maybe I'm going above and beyond way more than those numbers. So I tracked it yesterday, and by 8 o'clock, I had only logged in. It was less than 1300 calories, and that just doesn't work. I know people are obsessed with calorie deficit. If you are a certain age, if you are going through menopause, perimenopause, hormonal changes, PCOS, which I'm going through all those things, type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, it is not just that easy to say you're going to have 1200 calories a week, like Dr. Now would say, and you're going to lose all the weight. And yes, that can work, but the people that are doing those types of calorie counts are trying to lose an extreme amount of weight for more emergent health reasons. I am not in an emergent health situation. I don't need to lose weight to have surgery. And therefore, it is just not healthy to try and lose weight that fast. You're going to be nutrient deficient, you're going to lose your muscle mass, and among a host of other things. And for me, being a type 2 diabetic, if I do not maintain eating throughout the day, and that includes carbs, I know people are always like, no carbs, no carbs. That that's not going on here. I eat carbs, and my doctor wants me to eat carbs. If I don't have those things, my blood sugar will tank. And that is exactly what happened over this week because for whatever reason, I think it's because sometimes my mentality, I did keto for several years. I was in the keto cult where everything with carbs is an enemy. So I think it messed with my head so much that sometimes without even realizing it, I'm avoiding having carbs. And what happens to me is if I don't keep a balance of carbs and fats and proteins throughout my day, I will have these major downward spirals of blood glucose. And then I have to pop glucose tabs. And that happened to me at least 3 times this week. One of the worst days that this happened was my husband and I were out on Saturday, and we were in a thrift store, and it just kept diving. My alerts kept going off. I had twice while being in the store for a matter of what, maybe an hour and a half. I had to take my glucose tablets twice. So I really have to make sure that I'm having carbs throughout the day to keep everything level. And I really wasn't planning on talking about this at this point in the video, but since it really does tie into what I want to address, let's just go in and talk about it. And then I'll tell you the rest of the standard check in details. So, I have had some comments of people saying, I just need to move up. I just need to move up to the next dose. And I've had some other people tell me that if my doctor will not increase me to the next dose, that I need to find a new doctor. And the first comments, I'm totally in agreement with. I feel like I need to move up to the next dose, and I just want everyone to know that I truly welcome your comments. We're on this journey together. If you're also on a GLP-1, then you are living this with me and you have some of your own experiences that I love to hear about, and by you sharing that, it can help me make some of my own decisions moving forward in this journey. But it's more the other comment about if my doctor isn't doing what I'm commanding her to do, then I have to find a different doctor. And I just don't agree with that. I have been with my doctor for about 12 years now, and I have stayed with her for 12 years because I really trust her. She has been a fantastic doctor. Maybe what you look for in a doctor isn't the same thing I look for in a doctor. And at the time when I went to her, I was seeing a doctor whose answer to everything was give me a prescription, pop a pill in me. And that is exactly what I did not want. I didn't get on Mounjaro for over a year after she advised me to get on it because I'm the type that, not that I'm against medication. Medications are wonderful. They save lives. They help people. They help me. But I like to try to address something without the medication before I resort to using that. And this doctor that I have, she supports that. That is what I want. And she is supporting that. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, that she prescribed this to me for type 2 diabetes, not for the weight loss. Yes, she supports me losing weight and would like me to lose weight. But she told me from the get go that her focus is long term type 2 diabetes control. And if you're on a GLP-1, you know that this medication, there's a cap off to the dosage. And even though right now my A1C is perfect, I am in normal range. The last A1C reading I had was 5.2. That doesn't mean I'm not type 2 diabetic anymore. I will always be type 2 diabetic. It's just Mounjaro is helping to control my type 2 diabetes, my blood glucose levels. And that is like the main focus. That is the long term focus of why I'm on the medication. Yes, losing the weight, heck yeah. Like I am all for it. And it has been very good to me, even though some people may say you've only lost 32 pounds in 7 months. That is exactly where my doctor wants me to be, is 1 pound, no more than 1.5 pounds a week. And as for whether or not she's going to advise that I go up to the next dose, I totally plan on talking to her about it. I already made an appointment to go see her in, I don't know, I had to wait a couple weeks to get in, but I am going to be going to see her in a couple weeks to talk about going up to the next dose, because I do want to lose weight and I do want to lose more weight, and I don't want to fight this mental battle of appetite suppression or food noise. However, if she says to me, I don't think it is a good idea for you to move up yet, let's continue with the 7.5 because your A1C is right where we need it to be, then I am going to respect that. I am all for advocating for myself and all for you advocating for yourself. And there have been times where I've had to do that. And in a way, I do think just going to see her and talking about this is advocating for myself. But also, there's a reason why she has MD after her name, and I don't. I go to her because she has the knowledge, she has the experience, and I don't. So, if I am at a place where I know I trust my doctor, then I'm going to let her make that decision and I'm going to respect that. And I will get back with my dietitian and I will work it out with them that way to see, okay, where can we strengthen this plan so we can get the weight loss moving along better and maybe get control over, making sure I can handle the food noise and hopefully not lose the appetite suppression. So I hope talking about that, you guys really understand where I'm coming from. I am not, I'm definitely not trying to shut down comments. I just want to get my point of view across about how I'm handling my health journey. Every journey is different. We are all walking a different path. And a lot of you are type 2 diabetic, some of you aren't. And I think we just need to remember that we need to do what's right for us and also understand that what works for us may not be working for somebody else. So thank you guys for listening to that. It was just really on my mind. So with all that being said, let's finish up the standard checklist of things for this weekly update and get to my number 13 injection. Okay, so let's go right into food noise. I feel like food noise and appetite suppression, they just go hand in hand with each other. And actually, my food noise has not been too bad. There have been a couple times, again, it's usually during my work day, where I'm hearing that little annoying noise, but for the most part, I think I've been able to really just keep a handle on it and not let it take control over my brain and just, refocus myself, which I feel like that is a really good success. And that is something, long term we need to figure out how to do, is to be able to shut off that food noise without this medication. Because what if the 15 milligram is, the cap off and they don't come out with something better than that? And, you know, I got to figure it out on my own one way or the other. This health journey for me is a lifelong challenge, and I have to be able to win it with or without, a medication that can help it. But as long as there is a medication that can help it, I am all for being on that bandwagon because I am a work smarter, not harder type of girl. So, blood sugar this week, I touched on it a little bit where I had a few times where it was going into alert mode low. As far as alert mode high, that doesn't really happen to me anymore, which is amazing. I've been able to stay under my high range of 180 pretty much after, I want to say, once I got into the 5 milligram, it all just settled down and I have not been hitting above that. And as far as that goes, like any alerts for my blood glucose, it really has been great having the Dexcom because it really was such a hassle having to poke myself all the time. And the last thing we'll talk about before I take my number 13 injection are side effects. And at this point, you guys, there just really aren't any side effects. I don't have the gas, no nausea, no constipation. That could probably be because I take magnesium glycinate every night to help combat constipation. I also try to make sure I get enough fiber in every day. So, no problems there, no headaches, just nothing. So, I think I'm just far enough along into the medication that even if I go to the next dose, just like when I started 7.5, I didn't have many side effects coming into it. They went away pretty much after the first week. Oh, and I forgot. Want to talk energy as well. My energy levels have been pretty good this week. I haven't really had as bad of fatigue going on. For me, I don't think fatigue has ever been part of a Mounjaro side effect. I just have dealt with fatigue for the past few years. So this week it's been pretty good. I have been pushing myself to get back on a regular workout routine. So I do 1 to 2 miles on the treadmill every day. And I actually have upped the weight on our weight stack machine and I've been lifting heavier. I do arms and legs on the weight stack equipment. And today I noticed I was like, "Oh man, I am pretty sore today." Even the tops of my feet were sore from doing the leg lifts, but that's good. You definitely don't want to get too used to being on the same weight because then it doesn't force your muscles to start strengthening. I'm probably going to try upping it again next week and see where we can get at. I really don't know what weight it's at. I want to say each stack is maybe 10 pounds. So I may be at 30 pounds right now for legs and arms. If I remember, I'll try to get the exact weight number next week when I make my next update video. But all right, I need to get this injection in. I'm a little over my time. So let me just get myself set up and we will do this. And I injected in my left arm last week, so I'm going to inject in my right arm this week. And as always, your girl gets a little bit nervous with these injections because it does sting in the arms and the thigh. I have talked to you about it in older videos about why I choose to do thighs and arms. I don't do my belly anymore, even though in the belly you hardly feel a thing. I get like no results when I inject in my belly. I get zero appetite suppression, zero food noise relief, nothing. So I am just going to keep dealing with the sting. It only lasts 2 seconds. So if you've never injected in your thigh or your arm and you find that you're not getting any of that appetite suppression or food noise relief by injecting in your belly, I know it seems a little scary, but I am being totally honest with you. It does sting, but it's so fast. It's so fast. And as soon as it's done, it's done. So I encourage you, if you've never tried different areas to inject, which the three options are belly, top of the thigh, or the arms. back of the arms. Definitely, I think you should give it a try. So here we go. One, two, three. You know what, you guys? That time it didn't hurt too bad. I hope I didn't mess something up. I always feel like if it doesn't hurt, something's messed up. I don't see any blood either, so okay. I hope. I mean, it's empty. That's a miracle. It's a miracle. Wow. Huh. I'll have to remember. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've injected in that same area before. That's the area a lot of times where I put my Dexcom. So, I don't know. Okay, yay. So, injection number 13 is making its way through my system. Hopefully, it's going to be a really good, strong week for appetite suppression. I don't have that doctor's appointment for a couple weeks now, so I won't know for a little bit whether I can go up to the next dose, but I will definitely keep you guys updated with any changes that are going on. I share these updates in real time because I know how confusing this journey can sometimes feel. If these videos help you, then subscribing is the easiest way to support what I'm building here. As always, thank you for being here and walking this journey with me. See you next time.
Seen
Bye.
a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.